to down the track. The Ashes has been completed today. Earlier than expected. England actually, they were in a decent position. They got Australia all out for 155. They had a target of 271 and 60 for zero just before tea. It was a good position to be in. Crawley batting well along with Burns, but everything collapsed. One wicket led to two, led to 10 wickets, and yeah, fantastic performance by Australia. They've dominated England in all departments in this series, and they've never gave England a chance. To be very honest with you, England will be very disappointed the way they batted. They haven't crossed the 300-run mark on in these Australian conditions. You need to score big runs, and the batsmen completely failed. The bowlers, at times they did bowl well. Mark Wood, I think he was the pick of the bowlers on this tour, and in particular on today, I think it was his best performance, picking up 6 wickets and very well deserved. But apart from that, they lacked a bit of pace to the England bowlers. But either way, what are you going to do when you don't have runs on the board? From Australia's perspective today, everyone picking up 3 wickets except for Stark picking up one. So Pat Cummins bowled and Cameron Green. Green was, for me, the most improved player from Test 1 to Test 5. I think the way he's transformed in this series itself has been a big revolution for Australia, and he's going to be a massive player for them in the future. He batted really well in the last couple of Test matches. He's bowled really well in this innings in particular, the last innings of the series, picking up the first 3 wickets and giving Australia that you know that uh, that entrance into the England middle order, and from there everything collapsed for England. He triggered that collapse, and the rest, Boland and Cummins, they did the job. Boland in particular as well. What a series he's had! 32 years old, making his debut, and outstanding bowling. That ball to Joe Root, just dipped completely. But apart from the pitch helping him, he's been so accurate that it's been so hard to get away. And fantastic bowling. He is one for the near future, I would say, because I don't know how many years of cricket he has left in him. But the 30s is the new 20s, and if he can keep fit, I think he can bowl for another 5-6 years on this level. It's been excellent from Australia. And one thing, I read a stat that David Warner and Steve Smith were averaging around 30 in this series. And having said that, they still won the series 4-0. When Smith and Warner averaged so less, like, in a home series like that, normally you would say that, okay, Australia struggled in this series even if they won. But this was a clean effort. Travis Head, he's been outstanding. Usman Khwaja, he's been outstanding whenever they've got opportunities. I think that number 5 has been an issue for Australia, and they've really changed that now. And both batsmen who were struggling a couple of years ago, even last year, they've found their form, and it makes a huge difference when your number 5 is contributing with hundreds. It really boosts the morale, because when your top order gets out early, you need somebody there to build a partnership with the lower order, and those guys did it. Whether it was Khwaja, Travis Head in the first Test match, and then Travis Head again in this Test match, those were crucial runs, and it actually deflated England to a certain extent. Even in this game, if you see, Australia could have been bundled out for 100, 150 in the first innings as well, not just the second innings. But that Travis had 100 in context with Cameron Green's 60 odd was a crucial partnership, and it was a match-winning partnership in the end for Australia. For England, batsmen are very, very poor this series, whether it's been the openers or the middle order or the lower middle order. Apart from Sydney, there was no fight at all. Even in Sydney, I think if there was not much rain going around and we didn't have those delays, Australia would have won that game as well, and it would have been 5-0. So there's nothing much to cheer about for England. It's been a very, very tough tour. They will have to go and introspect. Not giving a fight. It's fine to lose the series, but you need to give a fight, especially when you're playing the Ashes. It's what you've been preparing for a year, 2 years in advance. Before a big tournament like the T20 World Cup, everyone's talking about the Ashes, and you see England commentators, English coaches, players, they all say, yeah, we're looking forward to the Ashes 1 or 2 years in advance. When the India tour was going on in February earlier in 2021, they were still talking about planning for the Ashes, and we need to rest players and stuff. But what happened? The Ashes came and went, and no fight at all. Very weak performance from England, and very disappointing from a neutral point of view as well, because in an Ashes series, we grew up watching 2005. Before that, our older generation saw the 1981 Ashes, the Botham Ashes. You want to see matches like that. Even the Ashes in 2019, when Australia toured over there, they fought and they actually almost won the series 2-2. They retained the Ashes and came back to Australia. So you want your away teams to perform. India did that last year in Australia, and you want a good you want a good fight between bat and ball. When we did not see that at all from England. Joe Root will be questioned. He said in the post match that he wants to be given a chance to turn this around for England. But how many chances are you going to give him as captain? He has to be questioned because, whether it's field placements, whether it's batting order, team selection, the captain, the buck stops at the captain. So I think there will be many questions asked of Joe Root, and whether it's now time for England to do what they did with the white ball cricket, just go with red ball specialists and come up with a plan, focus on on test matches. That just might be the case because right now the white ball is kind of sorted. So I think it's time for them to focus and basically restructure this team. For me, the player of the series, there's plenty of contenders. I'm going to go with Boland. I just feel whenever he got the ball, he was outstanding. You could easily go Cummins because he captained so well as well. You have to take a hat off to him. A bowler, fast bowler, bowling so many overs and captaining the side. He was helped with Steve Smith, no doubt. But I think I'm just going to go with Boland. I think that he was unplayable. Even when he wasn't picking up wickets, like in the first innings, it was very difficult to get him away. The economy rate was excellent as well. So hats off to Boland there. Travis Head, Usman Khwaja, right up there, just with their vital contributions, really changing matches for Australia. So, hats off to them as well. For England, I would say Mark Wood was their best player. He came, ran in every game, bowling 150 kilometers per hour, giving it his all. And unfortunately, he didn't get enough support. But this is kind of like the criteria I think England will need next time they tour Australia. You need fast bowlers, you need the quick pacers, whether it's a Bumrah, whether it's a Rabada, Mark Wood. You need players who can bowl 140, 150 plus. And I think Mark Wood has set that precedent for England, and they'll have to follow that. I think overall a great series for Australia. Fantastic for the neutrals. It was kind of boring. I felt that very one-sided. We saw some fantastic innings, some fantastic bowling, but as a neutral, you would like to see close games, like I mentioned before. And for England, very, very disappointing. So let's see what holds in the future. England are touring West Indies. Australia are going to tour Pakistan. Let's see how they go about there. That's going to be a very good series, Australia Pakistan. I feel in those conditions, Australia will be tested against a Pakistan team who's rejuvenated, and they have a fresh approach now compared to the last few years. So it's going to be a good challenge for Australia. Let's see how that goes. We have the under-19 World Cup going on as well, so we'll get you the latest from that. The Ashes is completed. India-South Africa Test is completed. We have the one-day series as well. So stay tuned for the latest content from down the track. And until then, thank you so much for joining me.